Alrighty, so hello everybody. It's the end of February 2020 now, and I'm planning to do another video about this month because, as I said, I'm going to be doing videos every month basically to catalog all the bad things that have happened, so when I make my next New Year's video we can actually remember really more specific details about what happened. And I have a list of notes I'm going to be reading off of on my phone this time, and I'm also, as you see, doing the same kind of setup I did in the New Year's video instead of holding the camera, because I like to be able to move my hands freely to talk. So that's why I have this set up like this. Now, one interesting thing you might have noticed is the title of this video is The Darkest Days. Well, I've had some pretty dark days, but this video name wasn't actually my idea. I gotta give credits to my man, I'm gonna call him Fireburns Photography. I'll put his Instagram down. Who made this? He suggested the video title and he made this with a photo of me. The Darkest Days right here. So shout out to Fireburns Photography for both this photo and the inspiration for this video name, because he's the one who said you should name your next video should be called The Darkest Days. So I said February 2020, The Darkest Days, and that's what we're going with. So let's get into some of the notes. I'm going to go more personal towards the end like I did last time, but for now I'm going to start off with the news. So the first thing that really caught me this month was a lot of the flooding that happened in like Mississippi and areas like that. There was a lot of rain, there was some huge flooding, absolutely destroyed. People were falling into like sewer tunnels, I heard, so they shouldn't go out there, but that was really scary. And then also in South America there was a few things that happened in Peru and Brazil towards the end of January, which is close enough for February that I think it's valid to talk about in this video. And I'm getting tired of the non-stop talk about the coronavirus. It's getting quite annoying, but I do have to go into it with some of the news in this, so let's discuss some of that. So first was that huge cruise ship in Japan and everything, where there was these people who apparently had coronavirus on the ship. They were trapped on there, and apparently America said just get the Americans out, so that was pretty rude, but basically that was one big thing about the coronavirus that happened this month. The doctor who originally brought this to our attention passed away as well. The world economy has been really messed up by that. I'll go into later what happened with some of the stock markets and stuff when I continue on the video. And basically there's pretty rapid spread worldwide now. They've brought it up to, I think, not sure if it's a pandemic or epidemic. They brought it up to that now because it's such a big deal, it seems. And the other thing is the Olympics could be delayed because of this, which is very unfortunate. I'm just gonna hold this. So we probably all expected these results, but with the impeachment trial, Trump is still in office, which I expected, of course, but you know, that doesn't mean it's a reason to be a little bit disappointed because of all the stupid stuff that's been going on. And the new Samsung phone, the back of the phone with the cameras, looks like a chair. It's so like, who needs 4 cameras? And it looks ridiculous. They did a terrible job on the design with that, I have to say. And who needs a 108 megapixel camera and a 40 megapixel front camera? I don't know. The Samsung S20 is so freaking dumb. And then that big NASCAR crash with Ryan Newman. That was pretty scary. We were rewatching the Daytona 500 and we saw that, and that was pretty scary to say the least. I'm happy that he's okay though, but I guess it's just another thing about this month. And now apparently there's more Australia climate news. They've had a pretty big drought now. So after all these wildfires have totally burned up the forests, now they're not getting any rain, which is not optimal. It's caused a lot of problems, and I wonder how that's going to continue. It seems like pretty bad down there. And now my camera just stopped recording for no reason, so I'm going to continue off from here, I guess. Good that this one's going to be a little bit more edited than the other one. So continuing on from where I left off, some kind of mixed news. You could say it's good, you could say it's bad. Excuse me. They're thinking about pulling the troops out of Syria, the US troops out of Syria, and trying to end the war that's been going on for so long. Now, I'm not sure whose decision this was, so that's what I'm a little bit mixed about, but the idea of maybe trying to end this war that's been going on for so many years is a positive thing. So I am going to talk about some positive things in the mix of this whole February 2020 video. And apparently there's been a lot of controversy in the beginning of over the them wanting to put surveillance planes in Baltimore. Now, basically what they want to do is they want to have these planes with cameras that fly over the city and can like stop crime, see like if people are running away from a crime scene, be able to track them and stuff like that. And I can see where that's controversial. A lot of people say it's an invasion of privacy, and I don't know. Like we already have cameras everywhere, so I can't say that it's really such a big deal. But you know, it's another thing in the mix of the news, so I thought, why don't I include it? The Democrats are doing okay. I don't know if they're going to win, but since that Iowa caucus whole kerfuffle, it seems like it's pretty much cooled down a little bit, and they're actually doing okay, so that's nice to see. And Brexit happened. The EU free trade stuff is really interesting, what's going to be going on with Britain and EU with the trading in the future. That's one thing, but Brexit has been quite mixed because some people think it's going to be good, but some people argue, you know, about that they're not going to be able to fund the city, they're not going to have enough money, that people that are outside of Britain, like tourists, are going to have trouble because they're going to be more about keeping Britain pure. So, interesting little mix there. This big Boy Scout scandal with basically the big lawsuits about all the sexual assaults. So the Boy Scouts maybe know more pretty soon. That's pretty crazy to think about, you know, this thing that's been around for so long. So the Boy Scouts may be going. Who knows? We'll see. And I'm going to talk about some Toronto news, because that's where I live. So the Ontario license plates. That was amazing. Basically, over here, they wanted to try some new license plates in Ontario. They have like now a more blue color, but the issue is nobody can read them. So everybody was figuring out like nobody could read the license plates, and now apparently they're sending them back to 3M to get them fixed because nobody was able to read them very well. So, and now this is an interesting other mixed topic as well. Jeff Bezos has apparently funded a climate change organization. Now a lot of people are saying that there's some strings attached, which probably true, you know, can't doubt that. But, you know, that's interesting mixed news. So I think it's good news, but at the same time, the strings attached, it may not be such good news. The Storm Dennis and Storm Sierra in the UK, I think there was some dust storms with some big rainstorms, some big storms going on in the UK right now. So that's interesting to think about. And now, the big, and once again in Canada and Ontario, the big pipeline protests and rail blockades going on right now. Basically, it seems from what I get from this, a lot of the natives in Canada aren't really liking the idea of them putting pipelines into their land. So basically, they've been having some huge protests, and they've been having big blockades on the rail lines, so no trains, freight, passenger, or otherwise can get through. And that's done some serious damage to travel. I even know somebody who is out of Toronto right now who's coming back, and they have to take a plane because the train, the rails are blocked. So, some good news, the Australia wildfires are now contained. So even though they're in a drought, which is not good, at least the wildfires are pretty much contained. So that's over. And the Iowa results. There's been some pretty big things about the Iowa results. Like, I haven't really been so in tune with them, but I heard that they took a long time to come out, and this whole Iowa caucus was a big mess, so it was pretty hard for them to get the results. Everybody was freaking out, so like, we want the results now, and I agree. But that was a big stink in this month. And this one's pretty big too. This random gunman who attacked an NYPD station. Basically, he just ran in there and started shooting at people, and then like shooting at cops, and then basically ducked under a desk after he ran out of ammo, which is pretty scary. Just to think that somebody's randomly attacking the NYPD station. But I guess that's February 2020 for you. And some more Toronto news. The new subway line, Line 5 Eglinton, has now been delayed till 2022, which, oh, okay, come on, man. Well, I'm actually pissed. Like, I live near Eglinton, and look at these photos! They fucked up the street! And now, it's going to be fucked up until 2022, or most likely after. Yay! But no, seriously. I'm tired of it, man. Like, the street's been ruined for years. We're not gonna get a new subway line until like late into 2022. It's bad, man. It's bad. Definitely for someone who lives near that street, it's fucking shit. Russia is now backing Trump's re-election. This is a real interesting one because there was a lot of theories about the Russian election meddling in the last election. So it's really interesting to see that Russia is backing Trump's re-election and that they want him back in. I'm kind of surprised since Trump has been really bad to some foreign powers, but you know, I guess Russia likes him and they want him back, so that's pretty crazy. And we'll see how that goes, because since the election meddling theory, there's some that can bring some pretty big stuff up. The Democratic debates that have been going on, there's some pretty big fights that have happened over, you know, some like some comments that some of the candidates have made, some things that don't really seem to line up with this whole democratic liberal idea. And it's been bringing up some pretty interesting things, but there's been some big fights going on in the debates, so that's definitely interesting to see. And it could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. And some more Toronto news, the TTC fare ads. People have been going crazy over these. Over like, there's been like, you know, there was quite a bit of money lost. I can't get the number out of my head right now, but last year, the Toronto Transit Commission lost quite a lot of money from people with all this fare evasion. I think it's kind of followed the Presto card because they couldn't fucking fix it, but that's besides the point. But now they've been covering streetcars and putting them on subways, these fare evasion ads, and people have been making spoof ads. People have been really pissed off because these ads seem like, you know, very forceful, edgy, and kind of rude, and people don't like it. As well as this whole fare on the streetcar, there was these fare inspectors that used some force on somebody who apparently didn't pay, and it was pretty serious because, you know, people didn't expect them just to use force like that, and in that situation it did not seem necessary to use force, so that brought up a pretty big stink as well. There's also a drought in California as well as Australia, so yeah, I guess they have wildfires a lot there too, but there's a drought in California as well. The US healthcare system, they're trying to work on it, but Trump has apparently made it even worse. And let's see what the Dems do. They can make it even worse too. But apparently they've been trying to work on the healthcare in the US, and they just succeeded in making it worse. And Bernie Sanders memes. There's been some interesting like cartoons and memes that are against Bernie Sanders, but also there seems to be apparently some left-wing memes that are supporting Bernie Sanders and trying to kind of use like how they thought memes got Trump elected. They're also trying to use this to see if they can get Sanders re-elected or elected, which is kind of interesting. And this is the other thing also that I didn't mention about the coronavirus. They apparently are calling it COVID-19 now. I thought at first it might have been like a specific strand. I thought it was like that specific strand that had the SARS in it. But no, apparently they're just calling it COVID-19 now. So yeah. But the Dow has plunged because of COVID-19 concerns and stuff like that. So apparently the Dow is fucked now. So that's great. And I guess for all my news research, that's what I found so far for February 2020. And we're at the 29th day. The final day of the leap year, so yep, there you go. Let's leap. It's the fucking leap year, but yep. So this is the final day. Now we get into some personal stuff. Last time in the video I mentioned panic attacks. Now I had a shit ton of panic attacks this month, man. I've been kind of fucked up. I had like a lot of panic attacks. I was having like multiple a day. And there was a lot of things, and that distracted from my video work and my music work. That's why I haven't been making so much stuff. Because I just couldn't work because I was having panic attacks all the time. And I'm starting to get better. I'm happy. I'm really starting to get better. Haven't had a panic attack in a while, and that's a really good thing. I've still not resolved the conflict with some people I know, so I'm gonna have to resolve that soon. I'm still trying to get my next album up. I gave you guys a trailer about Rendezvous 1. Trying to get that up, and also trying to get that big video project that I've been working on since late December up. My goal, like my final goal, is before November of this year, so we'll see if I'll be able to reach that. And I haven't been able to go out and see people and do stuff as much as I would have liked because of all these panic attacks. The photos that I showed you of Line 5 Eglinton was pretty much the last time I was out of the house, other than school. So, conclusion. seems like this has been a pretty bad month, not only for the world, but for me, since I've been having panic attacks and a lot of problems like that. So yeah, to hopefully a better month. This has been February 2020, The Darkest Days. Thanks Fireburns Photography for the title suggestion. Riotcat0564, see you guys. Bye.